Hey, everybody. Making sure you could hear me. Can you hear me? Give me hit one if you could hear me. I think you could hear me. Perfect. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Yeah, the puppy's doing it right. She's a little crazy. She chased a couple deer and might have caught a thorn on her pad, and she's okay. It was just a little gross, but everything's good. Just waiting for somebody to call in. Give me 1 sec. Just waiting for somebody to call in, but they haven't called in yet. Gonna have Sleuth on. You can make it. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody caught up on yesterday's live. Bloke, I think I have your Facebook Messenger. I believe I have it. It's good seeing you, man. Hey, D. Hope you're well. Just going through the comments. Yesterday was a pretty good live. It was enjoyable. I had a good time. Definitely had a good time. Imagine Keegan's activity was making a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, it just totally depends. And we also don't know how much was going on dark web wise. We just don't know, you know. There's a lot of unknown factors with that. Just going back to the comments, and I missed a few. I didn't see all of it. I saw a part of Fig's video. It was actually pretty interesting. I did watch the guy Alex's original podcast he was on. Interesting stuff. Some interesting stuff for sure. Do you think BG dressed in a similar fashion are intentionally in case you've seen? I mean, you know what? It absolutely could be. It's possible. I don't think that when the killer left after the murders that he was wearing the same clothes. You know, even so far as just taking his jacket off and having another jacket under it. And that's not even him thinking anything about being videotaped or anything. It's just, I believe they planned this out very well. I feel like the circle of possibilities tightening around KK and TK as a team. I've been saying that since December. Hey, I think it's Marv. Hey, Marv, how are you? Doggy is okay. I wrapped her foot. She pulled it off, but I'll have to wrap it again. Not bleeding anymore. It looks like a thorn, quarter paw. Should be okay. Hey, there's my buddy. Hey, bloke, you gotta watch Crime Scene to Courtrooms coverage on the Essex murders. He's another one of your UK buddies. You definitely got to hook up with him. Good guy. Very big return. Yeah, very big. There's Figgy. What's up, Fig? Good job talking to Alex yesterday. Very cool. I gotta finish up. I got tied up this morning with the dog, but I will definitely catch the end of it. He's right above you. Crime scene to courtroom. He great guy. I talk to him all the time. He's covering the Essex murders, the Essex boys murders. You would definitely enjoy his content as being a fellow UK guy. Waiting to see where is Sleuth. Oh, I think he's available shortly. He's coming. Transcripts of KK's Kim account at some point just teaming up another pedo cat CP. I mean that's what these. Hey, this is how do you say it? Feet de Nages, maybe? I don't know. I met you on Reddit, and I'm glad I turned you around. I know you said you weren't keen on a lot of Delphi, but watching my video yesterday turned you around. I'm happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. Yeah, he's a good guy. You'll enjoy his content. Good dude. I'm gonna analyze the crime scene notes once he sends them over and the reports and stuff. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm trying to be an asset as much as I can. As much as I can. Hey there, Tish. How are you? Yeah, that's listen, the whole thing about the dark web is that it's deep and it's about making contact, through the web and whatnot. There's just a lot of unknowns. We're not going to get the finality on an answer for that right now, but I do believe something that could definitely add up. Yeah, no, it's deep, man. It is very deep stuff. There's actually a pretty creepy movie about a house that was rented, and there was cameras in the house. It was set up to the dark web. I forget the name of it. It was pretty creepy, but I'm sure a Google search will turn up the movie. It just shows how many creeps are in the underground wanting to see some disturbing stuff. Yeah, you just never know how deep it goes, and somebody's not gonna somebody like Keegan's gonna trust just a contact with what he's doing, on the other side with what he's gaining, you know. 50 copies sold at 40,000 and it's 50 million today. Copies of what? I might have missed one comment. Glad I changed your mind, bud. I'm very glad to hear. I know I understand what you mean. There's a lot of content out there bashing the families and Ron Logan and just crazy shit out there. But if you get behind them and you watch their content, you're assisting the madness. You know, I'm not here to tell you who to watch, but just don't assist the madness. Many places to hide over there. Many places. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know if you heard my video yesterday. Something had to be at the crime scene that makes them think that videos were taken or whatnot. You know, you know, did the ground have an indentation of a tripod? Ron Logan's search warrant, the way that what they're looking for with a 76-year-old man related to technology and digital storage and you know, related to the murders, not CP or anything. that just shows you that, you know, something was there. Something was at the crime scene. I think he hacked and got the accounts, but I don't think he went inside because he didn't want to disturb anything. He turned everything over, which was the right thing to do. Hats off to the guy. Great job. Hey there. Hope you're well. Good seeing you. No, I think that the 2019 presser was the turnaround. You know, they had FBI steering them over onto Ron and really turning, you know, things over and going hard on Ron. And I think that was the breaking point for, you know, Carroll County Task Force and ISP to say, you know, we got to go in a different direction. This is what we got over here, and we're not going that way. So I truly think that some time was wasted with Ron Logan, which is tough. It's tough, you know. And I know some think that, you know, maybe it was tied to the, you know, the FBI guy that's corrupt with the gymnastic thing. I mean, it's possible. I just think it was a mistake. Just like not forwarding over Keegan's stuff to the Miami County prosecutor. That's why he was free for so long. It just, they made a mistake. Mistakes happen. I mean, it sucks, but, you know, cops are humans too. They make mistakes. It happens. You know, prosecutor's office made a mistake not forwarding. It's tough. These accounts wouldn't show Bitcoin transactions. It'd be random address, blockchain. Yeah, the whole problem, I did some digging on Bitcoin and stuff like that, but the addresses, like transactions aren't hidden like a Monero coin. You know, I guess each coin has their blockchain. Some can be privatized transactions, and Bitcoins aren't. So if you got one address, you could basically take down a whole group of people by having one address by going after the rest. I think they're trying to throw off police. Could there be stuff in there that could lead to some sick fantasy? Yeah, I mean, I said in December with TK, and I got a lot of shit for it, but you know, he's the violence. And Cryptex, I know, is very hard on Keegan, and if I'm wrong one day and TK wasn't involved, my hat's off to the guy. But Keegan was very happy living his life in four walls, being a disgusting human being, but the violence wasn't there. It was coming from somewhere else in the home. Hey, Sloopy. Hey, Zooter. Hope you guys are well. You guys are all awesome in the comments. We got such good people here. Okay, so you know what I mean about, I just read about it, and just seeing that Monero, the transactions could be totally, you know, totally hidden or whatnot. And I believe, what's his name? The guy that committed suicide in the jail, not Epstein, the antivirus guy. What's his name? I'm getting, my mind's shot right now. Guy's totally insane, putting out crazy videos, shooting machine guns off his boat. What's his name? Well, look, you know who I'm talking about. Putting out crazy videos, shooting machine. Getting double audio here. McAfee, yeah, McAfee, John McAfee. Yes, he was a big Monero guy because of the privacy. They were coming after him for tons of money. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they knew, and they just didn't have enough, and they've been gaining ground little at a time, you know, like breadcrumbs, and they're getting there. She goes through multiple throwaway wallets. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like anything else. You could keep moving it and hide it that way, but why not use something that is just easy to, you know, have privacy and totally untraceable? Oh, I believe so too. You know, I believe so too. I mean, listen, there was reason to look at Ron hard early, especially when his alibi crumbled. But when nothing else matched up, you got to move on. You know, you got to go where the evidence is leading you, but you can't just get tunnel vision and just focus on one person. You're never going to solve the crime. You have the Jennifer Coffindaffer, the retired FBI agent, still saying it's Ron Logan today. And I'm sorry, that hurts the families. That's who it hurts. Hurts the families. They're past Ron Logan, you know. Carter is past Ron Logan, but the FBI, somebody retired, and what taints that is that she's retired FBI, and what is her attachment to the female agent who wrote up the search warrant? You know, it's just got to move on. You got to go where the case takes you. You can't just do it. You can't just stay on one guy. You got to move off him. I think the Dropbox is Pandora's box for the CSAM stuff. I don't, you know, I mean, could it? I don't think it has the murder stuff on it. It's just not. It's just not. It's not private enough to risk that. I don't believe that they would throw the murder weapon in the river. My opinion is it went to Vegas and it got dumped in Vegas. I've been saying that for once we found out they went to Vegas, I've been saying that since then. That it just fits. You have an ex-retired law enforcement guy there, very close with TK. It just all makes sense. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's tough. You get it. I mean, you have stuff in your family that you understand. It's very hard when you're being steered and you're always getting the hope. The hope's there. The hope's there. Then it's broken again. It's broken again. They're living the same day over and over again. They really are. It's the 14th over and over again until justice is served. Then they can move to a new part of the grieving process. Hybrid. It's just. You have people here in the community that don't really care about it being solved. It's not even about that to them. It's about attention. They like getting attention. That's all it's about. You know, a lot of them are totally insane. Fig says hi. Deb says hi to Fig. Fig says hi back. Yeah, I believe it's something, you know, SIM cards, something small, you know, something very small. To put the murder weapon right near your house. I mean, listen, it's happened before, but I feel this was very well planned out. It doesn't fit for me. Hey there, Jane. I hope you're doing well. Fig, good seeing you, man. We got to do a live soon. We'll get together. Definitely get together. Yeah, he also got away with a lot because he had a friend and a few possibly. Well, I mean, the retired guy I'm talking about worked for 20 more years with him at the plant. He was his manager. TK worked under him, and you know they have a lot of. Let's just say it appears they have a lot in common with you know what they like. Person in our family who has killed my cousin, we're 90% certain. There's a lady who did a special on Amazon trying to say the murder is innocent. Wow, that's what I'm saying. That's just brutal. It's brutal. It's like, you know, why? You know, is she a family member or is she just trying to get some notoriety? And that's what we have here. That's what we have here on YouTube. We got some psychos that just want attention. It's all about attention. It's not about this crime being solved, but until people stop watching them and giving them, you know, giving them attention and views, you know, it's like them watching their view count. It's like an addiction. Let's just say it like that. Oh, hybrid. I mean, I have just peeked into other cases here and there. I look at a little bit with Summer Wells. Eventually, I'm gonna do some videos on that because I have a lot of points to make on Summer Wells and even the Kylie Rodney case. What's going on now and how law enforcement might have missed that camera with the vehicle going in the water is just beyond. I don't know. In the beginning, I praised law enforcement out there because they were doing a great job. They were being very vocal, giving a lot of information, and look what happened. It just totally backfired. Yeah, Tony, he totally looked like a clean shaven kid. You know, he does have a younger face than you know than his age. He does. Hey, Jill. Hope you're well. I trust the police. One of the people like me at their desk. So that's hard, but it's for It is. It is for the best. I mean, we talked about yesterday that law enforcement isn't giving information for a reason. They might not need anything else. You know, it sucks to hear, but they have what they have and they just need to close it down, you know, and that's just getting to the point and getting there. You know, they got to just get it done. I listened to, I think it's, let me see what the pod, it's the HLN Down the Hill, but it's the, let me just look which episode it is. Because there's actually a really, really interesting exchange between Mike Patty and Carter. They talk, you know, they talk about that. Mike Patty said that Doug Carter owes him. Basically, he owes him in solving this case, and how they could have been friends if they met earlier, not through the murders. That they could have been friends. But it's a good listen. It's the episode 10, chapter 10, 4 years. And it's like probably like the middle of it till the end. It's not even a long episode. It's definitely worth listening. Maybe if there's a way I don't know if I could play it on here. I'm gonna have Sleuth help me when he comes on, because I'm not that tech savvy with playing stuff. But maybe he could assist, because it's actually worth listening to. It really is. Very, very interesting, the exchange that goes back and forth. Does anybody want to call in? I could attach the link in the comments. I just got to, you know, check you out before you come on. I don't want anybody dropping any disturbing things on a live. I've seen it before. People are disturbing, so Logan doubt that BK would have cashed in for his property stricken town. Yeah, but we listen. You got to remember that Keegan was living in his room for 2 years, and just in his room, not leaving the room, trying to make believe he was in Vegas. So you never know what kind of funds he was, you know, using to, you know, fund his life. Debbie does Delphi. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Oh yeah, if you don't sell at the top of the market. Very true. Very true. Oh well, it didn't. It not even about sitting on the bank. It's that when it hit the water, you know, it took a while to fill up and go, and then once it goes, the weight makes it turn over. You know, that's why it turned over. I mean, I know people are saying that the friend had something. I don't. My opinion, I don't think so. I think it was just a very unfortunate accident. She drove drunk and it just ended badly, and it happens. You know. It happens every day that, you know, kids are drunk driving and it cause a massive accident. I just saw a report 2 days ago with the new Apple Watch that the car was in a massive collision. A bunch of kids passed away, which is tragic. The phone did alert to a critical crash, though. So, I mean, technology evolves. But after watching Voorhees, I'm convinced it was only a personal pics. I'm thinking the search may have been for a month, though. Yeah, could be. Definitely could be. No problem. All good, man. And here he is. What's up, Sleuth?
Hey, what's going on, CD? How you doing, man?
How you been?
I've been well.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get this together here for the last about 10 minutes, but I couldn't get my camera to work. I don't know what's going on.
I think it's just StreamYard. Sometimes it just happens.
It's finicky.
Yeah.
Now, what'd I miss? What are you guys talking about?
Just going through the chat, looking at what everybody's talking about with you know, TK and just the case as a whole. You know, talking about Ron Logan and how people just need to just let it be. Stop now. You know, it's madness. It's madness. You know, people just
all of it or most of it.
Well, just Ron Logan being BG. They got to just let it go. They got to let it. You got to let it go. It's
what about being connected?
Remember, I've been saying for a while, I feel he's hunted, that TK has hunted the property before. I mean, connected that way, you know,
Yeah.
to where TK felt safe going on that property, where, you know, Ron wouldn't shoot him, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I just think if something was going to come from it, it would have happened already. They were so hard on him. They were hard. That search warrant is just, that was so close to a copy and paste to an arrest warrant. So close.
Yeah, one drop of blood, he would be in prison for that
Oh,
murder
he
right now.
done, toast. Yeah, they had every kind of dog there when they did that search warrant. They went up and down, up and down. You know, it's tough, man. It is. It's tough, but we got to move past it. We see where it's going. You know, we see where we're headed. You know, I just think that there's more players that are going to come down on it. You know, I just don't think
Yeah.
it's the two of them. You know, we've spoken about that at length.
My only issue right now is what type of where does Tony Klein fit into all of this? You know, because there's really nothing implicating him in the crime itself. And I mean, they did do a search warrant on his home. They basically interviewed him, I think on more than one occasion.
Well, the
So
first time it was very brief. It was only the first on what was it, the 25th of February 2017. It was only about the router. They wanted to just confirm that the router was secure, meaning anything they found on it, they're not going to be able to say later that, oh, you know, our router was open, anybody could get in. They wanted to make sure that that was said, you know, that way. But yeah, I mean, listen, they searched the grandparents' house, as we're finding out, which makes sense. You know, they did that recently while they were doing the river search. They were
Pike.
Yeah, they were Papa Pike doing the they were checking the fire pit. Oh.
Yeah, isn't that part of the rumor?
Yeah, that's what Murder Sheet. Listen, I'm not a huge backer of Murder Sheet, but they have solid info, and I believe it's coming from a law enforcement source.
Yeah, so far so good with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, if the person that's ever found out to be tipping them off is going to get crushed. I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up giving something to them that's going to be false, but it's going to be to find the rat. You know, that happens all the time. I mean, we've done it in our job.
Sometimes I wonder if they released the Anthony Shots information because HLN and
they were about to break it. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about that night? I'm like, it's not a fitting time to drop this news. 9:00 at night.
Get in front of it, type of deal.
Yeah, it's like we have no choice. We have to put this out there because they're going to drop the truth bomb tomorrow. You know. So
yeah, they even did it kind of in a confusing fashion because everybody was like, "Okay, we need to find out who created the Anthony Shots," but they already knew that, you know, the entire time.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I mean that because it didn't make sense. They'd be doing that 9:00 at night. I think it was a Wednesday, right? It was on a Wednesday or Tuesday. It was just a weird night to have news like that dropped. You know, but that's
like
just the
10.
way it goes.
I think it was like 10 p.m. Eastern time.
It was late. It was late, and it was just like, whoa, you know, I don't know, but definitely makes sense that that something was there, and they had to drop the truth bomb and get it out. But what are you up to? What's been going on? What are you working on with Delphi?
Well, this morning I was kind of working on like a lone wolf theory, like maybe Kagan Klein was like a fledgling killer, and he's been basically planning this since 2014. And I think that who was it, Kayla, who mentioned something to the murder sheet that attempted to meet out there.
Yep, they met. What
no,
bothers
they didn't
me,
meet.
they didn't meet. They met at the park.
She states
she brought the friend.
she said they never met face to face. She said she brought a friend and intending to meet him. But they never once met.
Well, probably because from afar he saw the second girl. Because remember, after she left, that's where the threat of slicing the throat came in.
So what I'm thinking is he learned from that experience. Okay, so if that was his first attempt, and she could have very easily been a victim of his fantasy. So what he thought is, okay, my potential victims are gonna bring a friend. So now when I plan my next attempt, I need to plan for a friend, and I need to take actions that involve the friend being there, and then I can proceed with my plans.
Yeah. Man, listen, anything is a good theory. I'm just, and you know, since it's, I'm leaning so heavy with TK because he is the shown violence, and has climbed that ladder from teenager,
Mhm.
peeping Tom to touching peeping Tom to, assaulting
But
women.
another part of that theory is Kagan. He tries to put it off. First he tried to put it off on friend one, then he tried to put it off on friend two, and now this is him maybe just trying to put it off on father.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
it's anything could turn out to be possible with this.
Yeah,
Anything.
and I just don't want to overlook it. I don't want to be fooled
Yeah.
by this guy. You know what I
No,
mean?
I get it. Listen,
He sits up there looking all pathetic, like, "Oh, I'm
yeah.
just this
Well,
pedo.
I
My
mean,
life is
just
doomed.
look at
Look
him
at my
though.
dad." Yeah,
He's
but
rotting.
look at
He's
him.
rotting in that cell, just
Yep.
turning into a true gremlin. He really is resembling. I mean, it's just like the picture that guy
But in
drew.
his
The
future right
source.
now,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
looking at a short sentence, and that
Well,
bothers me.
if he gives up, I know it bothers a lot of people, but I've been on the other side of it where you got to sometimes make a deal because justice needs to come. You got to look at it this way. If he is the one holding the key saying, I want only 10 years and I'll give you a double murder case. They haven't solved it yet, dude.
Mhm.
We're gonna hit the 6 year mark coming,
I'm not sold on Tony.
No, huh?
Mm.
What is, tell me your reasons why.
I'm thinking the motivation of it all. I see maybe there being some things that we don't know about Kagan.
But
I'm seeing maybe.
let's say that, so that's hypothetical. Libby sends videos, pictures of herself, and somehow they figure out who he is, not as Anthony Schatz, but as Keegan Kline, and they're going to do something, and then Daddy has to step in to protect his son.
But the transcripts make it seem as if Libby was 100% sold, so she would have had no
Well, that
prior
she was in
knowledge.
love. Yeah, that she was in
Yeah,
love with
so she
them.
was all the way up to the end. She was fooled
Yeah,
by this, and so
but
she was
remember one
she was a
piece.
victim. She was a victim the entire time. I don't
Yeah.
think she knew until that moment on the bridge, and I think that's why we have that video. I think that's when she knew.
She definitely. I don't doubt that she didn't put two and two together. That day when that person was walking on her, that she thought somebody else was going to be there. 100%. I agree with you with that. I just think that
Mhm.
maybe there was going to be a handoff of some sort, like I'm going to give you back your file, something. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I
that's
just
what I'm
I
saying. Like
can't.
everything points at him, the
Yeah.
MO, his background, the story plays out like, yeah, it plays out nicely, but there's just no evidence that points at him.
That they've given.
Yeah, exactly, that we have.
That we have. I'm just going off of my my career. That's all I'm going
Yeah,
off.
the
And
gut says
as I said,
yes.
I could end up being wrong. It could end up being Keegan by himself. But what I've seen, his rap sheet, it just screams that this man is so ready to have committed murder already. Keegan
And that
was.
is
You
the
just think
most
about.
likely scenario.
Yeah, just think about Keegan, right? The guy was happy as a clam in his room 2+ years, making believe he's in Vegas, probably so that law enforcement thinks he's in Vegas, and they're not even looking for him, because that was a total fuck up, not sending all the files to Miami County for prosecution. Total disaster, as usual. There was a mistake made. It happens, but nothing shows that Key was ready to move up. You know what I mean? He was so happy being a dirtbag and living this lie, getting his pictures, doing whatever he was doing with them. It could be. It could be. I don't see it yet. I don't.
I think it could just be a small part of what he was really trying to do. And that could be another reason why he wasn't that worried. The
Yeah.
catfishing part was just maybe like 25% of what he was really looking at. And it was only the targeting, of his victim, and everything that you're referring to, like, oh, look at this pathetic guy and look at him. He's so, this and that. But that could be what he's taking all the information that he knows that's out there,
Yeah.
and he's projecting
Well,
an
that's the
image
problem
of
too.
what
Think
he
about it, right?
wants us to see.
Keegan is somebody who has probably consumed tons of content and trying to find out what people are talking about on the case. He was looking from Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So, people say, oh, you think BG was watching? Keegan was. That's a definite. He wanted to know what the hell was being said out there. You know. We're talking about the search of the grandparents' house. Hey Tom, thanks for the
What's up,
$2,
Tom?
man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's purposely released. Oh, he might be answering somebody. Just trying to catch up on the chat. But that's interesting. Oh, did you hear that podcast I was talking about? Episode chapter 10 with it's the HLN Down the Hill, and it's Mike Patty actually speaking to Doug Carter. And he talks about how Doug Carter owes him, like solving this case.
Yeah,
Well,
I did catch that part. I've seen it.
Yeah. I just listened to it back last night because I just wanted to go over it again, and it was just it's interesting just how Mike Patty talks about the case. It's like he's so numb to all of this until they get somebody in handcuffs. He's just they're just living the same day over and over again.
Yeah,
And the
he kind of reminds me of you got to have somebody, when you're in a family and there's men in your family, all the men are kind of going to start looking around like which one of you is going to be strong, because
who's gonna be the man, who's gonna be the man.
I'm not feeling very strong right now, like I don't know, but I'm looking around. And Mike Patty was like, I'm going to be that man right now. I need to be that guy. So he jumped in front of that camera. He called all his connections. He tried to show leadership during the search. So he tried to be that guy. Now, does that mean that he succeeded 100% in being that guy? And none of us do. Nobody succeeds at being that guy. But who's going to step to the plate?
I'll tell you a brief thing in my family. My brother-in-law, he was 44 years old, passed away, turned to 45 of cancer. Came out of nowhere a couple years ago, and did everything, chemo, radiation, everything, and everything was looking good. And he had a massive stroke, dude, and it just took him down. And 2 kids. My niece was turning 20, and my nephew was 16. So, dude, it was like, I was traumatized. I mean, it came out of nowhere, man. I was the one taking him to his chemo sessions, and it's like is it your little one?
My wife. They're going to get their nails done.
Nice. My daughter went with my wife the other day. That's good. But dude, when tragedy strikes, it's just you have no choice. There was nobody else. It was just I had to just do everything. And no matter how numb I was inside dealing with it, you have no choice. So I get what you mean. You have to. Somebody has to be the guy.
And that's what when I see him and when I see what he's done and I look at the coverage of the case and that involves him, that's what I think about. I think to me, that's what I get from his whole part in this.
This was a good combo because it's 4 years later, and just the talk back and forth was just very interesting. It really was. It was just an interesting combo back and forth, and it just shows that the law enforcement is working this case, man. They want this done.
Yeah, that's why they weren't going to have HLN take credit for that Anthony Shots or anybody else. That they're like, that's ours. That we've been working this since the beginning.
It sounds like Barbara, must have given them the heads up. Like, listen, this is what we got, and we're going to go with it. And maybe they said, just give us 12 hours. Give us something.
I think she did make a statement saying that not only did she know about the Anthony Shots information and the interview transcript, but I think she had already figured it out on her own. That who it was. I think that's the part that triggered them and was like, okay, we got to get in front of this thing.
Yeah, it's true. Kelt says within 2 years of getting out, KK would end up back in prison if LE was paying attention. Are you meaning now? Like, as in, if he's not going to get 2 years, even if he hands this over.
He'll be a repeat
minimum
offender.
10. Oh, I mean, listen, he has dark fantasies, man, and there's no way that just doesn't go away. That does not go away.
I think he's fooling. I think he could be fooling a lot of us, and I just don't want to be one of those people. Yeah, he doesn't look like he, could put it maybe 1 out of 10 times he puts his shoes on wrong, on the wrong foot. But he that could be part of what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's possible. It is possible. I mean, as of now, we don't know anything about him being charged federally. You know, as of right now, it's all going through the state. Could that change? It's possible because, you know, you're crossing state lines and whatnot with it and that kind of stuff.
There is talk of a
Um,
grand jury, but that's rumors
yeah,
from what I know.
federally. I mean, listen, just conspiracy. You know, three people getting together, going over things, and planning out a CSAM thing. That's a 10-year. You know, federally, conspiracy is a 10-year sentence. You know, so that, you know, it could be possible. Never silent. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Libby wanted to meet. Why the caps? How do you know that for a fact that it was Libby that wanted to meet? Let us know. Bossy, that's why yeah, it depends on roles, you know, in the whole double murder. It could be 2 to 5 people. I don't think we're going past that, but 2 to 5 being the max. But a trio is highly, highly possible. I'm sold on Tony, but I think there's more to the overall investigation. Someone else there, maybe, or Bear minimally deeply involved with CSAM. Yeah, we have to do something. We have to. Yes, the CSAM could have been the reason that there was a meet or whatnot, but we have to make sure we separate the two because as of now, they are separated. You know, Keegan is in Miami for CSAM.
I just can't get over this this whole Lilith aspect. The meaning behind that.
Tell me what else is going on with that? Because I'm hearing little bits and pieces that she
it's
also
that.
Well,
it's not her specifically. It's just that what that represents, and then the whole non-secular aspect. I think, you know, this person could be fooling us. He could have been planning a murder. They could have went out there and did some type of ritual. Like, we don't know.
Oh yeah.
Why is it about 100%. Power? You know, how's he? So,
well, you know, a lot of murders are about just the power of it. You know,
yeah, but why
having that power over
way,
somebody's life? Oh no, I know.
Yeah, any murder, any child murder is about power. But why say it and oppress her that way?
Every time Carter speaks, even in this piece with Mike Patty, it goes to faith. You know, he's a man of faith, and we have to always remember that when he goes into, you know, his faith and stuff. Sometimes we overanalyze that, and what he's saying is just what he's saying. That you know, God is good, and dark things come to light. You know, it's all about faith with him. You know, and that's, you know, that's
I'm talking
a big
about the part that they may not know. I'm talking about the part that nobody knows but the killer, and what is really behind his motivation. I'm thinking that there might be more there. As far as it's not just being a catfish, or it's not as simple as my dad did it because you saw his face or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I agree. This is something deep and very dark. You know,
exactly.
just like when people were saying, "Oh, you know, they were probably strangled." I'm like, no, there's no way they were only strangled, because when you listen to them talk about the crime scene and how they died a violent death, it is you know, being butchered. You know, you become numb as a cop to death, which is, it sucks, but it's I describe it as like a mental filing cabinet. And that case, you just file it away for now, and you got to get your work done, and you'll address it when you get there, you know. And that, what they saw that day, you see it on Tobe's face at the first presser. The guy couldn't even speak. You remember him at the first presser? He was just sitting there, like, very low toned, not many words coming from him. You know,
do you think he was out of his league completely?
Totally. He was beyond traumatized at what he saw. You know, you had Riley, who I don't even think Riley went to the scene yet. He was just there to be the ISP's, you know, PIO. And he even, remember, he said Sugar Creek instead of Deer Creek. People, it happened. No, it didn't happen at Sugar Creek. It's just, this man is there to be the ISP's PIO.
You know why he said that, right?
What?
Well, they had a missing child, I think, or another very tragic case that happened that same day at Sugar Creek.
There was something at Sugar Creek, But it's like, people were like, you know, there must have been moves from Sugar. It's like, stop the madness. You know, now when you see Ron's search warrant and how they describe where the girls were, how the blood loss was, you know, extensive right there. So even the staging of it, they were only moved a couple of feet.
That's why I don't think Ron Logan either, because you think about all that blood, one drop, if they would have found one drop
one
on his
drop.
property, he would have
Yeah.
been locked away
One
forever.
drop in the barn, in the house, anywhere.
Even
He would have
maybe
been
even on a
toast.
path halfway to his house.
Yeah, anywhere, anywhere. He would have been toast. You know, they had multiple canines there. They had shepherds. I believe I saw a Malinois and bloodhounds. They had multiple canines there searching his property on March 17th. You know, they were looking to hang him, and it never came because they didn't find it. It wasn't there. It wasn't there.
And it's almost like they had to look at him too. You know, if they didn't do what they did,
No,
they would be getting beat
listen,
up on the other end of the stick.
You have to do your due diligence. His alibi crumbled. It crumbled. You know, the guy spoke to the FBI, and then a day later he called back and just gave it all. You know, he lied, and he's like, you know,
I had to it took me a while. I had to read that affidavit. I had to go over all the evidence. It took me a while before I had to figure it all out. And I was confident, like, it makes him look really bad, but this is what I'm sure they call in your line of work a coincidence.
It's a coincidence. It is. It is. But at the time when you interview this guy, he tell, I was with them, blah 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 blah, and then the next day it's like, we got to talk. You know, I lied to you about Ron, blah blah blah, and that was it. His alibi crumbled. Now he becomes suspect number one. You know,
well, they tell him things
the time frame he lied.
You could go down for this too.
Yeah.
Right?
You
could go down for this. If you're lying, you could go down for this.
So everybody can hear this, right? So everybody can hear this. If you are ever to be interviewed by a federal agent, you get a lawyer. This is coming from me, who is a retired law enforcement. If you lie to a federal agent, that is a charge. So you can lie to cops. You cannot lie to the feds. It is a charge. So always keep that in the back of your head. Please protect yourself. Yeah, protect yourself. And that's coming from me. People would say I'm an asshole for saying that. I'm trying to protect you. Because if you give the wrong information, they could come down on you hard. So it's not worth it. So if you got nothing to hide, that's a different story. But, you know, protect yourself. Cold Truth, how are you? Hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a bit. I got to check and see if you've got any new content out. I've been busy with the kids. Oh, I feel like I'm always busy. So do you feel the same way?
Recently, yeah. Only because we're getting ready to go on vacation. My daughter's coming back from a vacation.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Other than that, just right now I feel busy, but
yeah,
it should calm down here in a little
coming bit. Up on, what am I coming up on? 5 months I quit smoking cigarettes. Now I'm using a vape a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, nice. You know what? And I've smoked for years. I don't know if you're a cigarette smoker.
No, every once in a while I'll dip chew.
Yeah, I mean, it got to a point where when we had COVID in January, my wife quit smoking. She wasn't really a big smoker, but it's like I never got a hard time for smoking. After she quit in January, it turned into if I was outside smoking and came in, you stink. It stinks. Blah, 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 blah. So finally, like May came, and I just looked at my daughter and I go, "Does Daddy smell from the cigarettes?" She goes, "Yeah, really bad." I'm like, "Shit." It was like a Friday. I looked in my pack. I had 4 cigarettes left. That was it. Smoked those 4 cigarettes and I was done. You know, I don't want my kids to feel like I stink. You know what I mean? It's just, it took my daughter to just throw them away, dude. I never bought it on the pack. So I use a vape here and there. It just, it just gives you a little bit of nicotine without the stinky.
Yeah, I'm not a smoker, but man, if I'm out and about or whatever, like a cigarette, that sometimes it's really good, you know. So it's like,
well,
this is
I can't.
Yummy.
I mean, I'll be honest. I enjoyed smoking. I did. I you know, some people just are like, oh, I'm addicted. I enjoyed smoking.
Moderation. It's all about moderation.
There wasn't really much moderation to it, man. I like to light up a burner, man, but it just.
That's how I am with the pot, man.
I get it. You know,
I got my little vape in my hand.
Yeah, I totally get it. And now it's like these are from the UK. I got to show. I think Bloke's still here. They're called. Where's the camera? They're called the Lost Mary. This is a juicy peach. So I got to be honest, man. It's like a Snapple iced tea without the iced tea.
That's a vape. That's a little.
Yeah, it's a vape. Yeah, it's a vape. Oh. It's called. I'm trying to show you. Lost Mary, juicy peach, 5% nicotine. It hits you pretty hard, and it's delicious. Delicious. You know, it's like having a snack without eating. Oh man. Oh, thanks, Double Rainbows. It was. My brother-in-law was a good guy, and he didn't deserve what happened to him. You know, he had a mass in his leg, and he's diabetic, and it's a rare cancer that attacks diabetics. And the man went through absolute hell, and at the end was hell. I mean, it just. Oof. So my niece and nephew are like my other kids. They're good, great kids, but totally traumatizing. It's traumatizing to all. Fit for being catfish, murder, maybe other stuff is dark path to go down. Only people to blame with the purpose. Bloke, you have too many people out there blaming either the girls or their families for being the murderers. It's just they need to just go away. But the problem with it is people who rob behind them. You know, they're writing comments under the videos. They're in there getting all crazy. And to the people making the content, it's not even about this case being. They don't care. So they don't care if this case is solved. They enjoy stirring the pot. That's what it's all about to them and getting
Well, and
views.
then they step away. It's not only that they stir the pot; they don't even sit there and explain. They'll stir the pot, and then they'll disappear.
Yeah,
into
well,
the
we
sunset.
have a bunch of them that aren't disappearing. They're just still here, just creating havoc. Overcomer, how are you? Libby was eager to go to the trails that day. She asked multiple times. Day before Valentine's Day, told her friends about shots, hid it from her sister. She was fooled. The Rockways, is that cool to say though? I mean, just the way you're writing that just comes off gross. I mean, you know, let's be kind to these kids because they went through a hell of their own. Disturbing the way you're writing that. I don't know if you mean it that way, but it comes off pretty gross. I try to remember what she's for. Who said she said last night Kayla was a fake? Oh, she must be talking about the Lilith sleuth.
Oh, see, I wasn't talking about Lilith specifically. I'm just talking about the connection.
Yeah.
The dark meaning behind Lilith and the stories behind it and the Satanism and all of that stuff. And it just makes me combined with the non-secular part. It leaves me hanging on to that part of it. Not very much. To me, it's most likely a very simple thing that happened. They catfished him. They went down there. They didn't plan it out much. Maybe that morning they committed the murder. However they did it, could have been very sloppy, but very brutal. We know that it was brutal, but they could have been very lucky to get away the way as long as they have.
Yeah. I tend to disagree a little bit because of how long we're at right now, and not enough. I feel not enough was left behind by them to not have been very well planned out. Like I feel they had gloves on. They possibly cleaned up a bit afterwards with trying to destroy stuff, you know.
Okay, so
Bleach.
why be motivated to do that? If you're not on a spur of a moment, okay, this is a sexual assault gone wrong, then your motivation is much different than a sexual assault. So if you're planning a murder, you got to ask yourself why, and then why is it ritualistic in nature?
But remember one thing too, though, sexual to a homicidal maniac doesn't have to even include touching.
Is the crime itself, yeah, could be just the gruesome part, but if it's planned, let's focus on the planning part then.
Yeah.
If you're planning this murder, why are you planning it to the point where you're gloved up? I mean, have you been planning to murder and rape somebody, or is like, I don't understand. That's the part that changes everything for me. If it's planned, to me, this is something more than just catfishing and I flipped out and you're not going to turn me in situation. This is hey, we planned this. We're trying to do a ritual here. We're trying to do it for specific purposes.
You know what else bothers me? I'll tell you what else bothers me, right? We talked about it so many times at how you got BG closing in, but then you got Captain Erston talking, right? Erston, what's his name? Captain, the little short guy. I love the guy. He retired. Captain Burston. Captain Burston. Yeah. When he talks about the video and how you're only seeing here, but you're not seeing here or behind them. I think he gave away something without saying it. I think there was somebody behind them too that came up, and that's how they were able to be contained on the end of the bridge there, and they were either duct tape, zip tied, whatnot. But
can I share something?
Go ahead.
It should let me. see.
Yeah, I think you have access. You should have access to everything.
It's just like a real short clip.
No, yeah.
It's that clip that you're talking about.
Okay. See, I that's in my spare time. I go through a lot of the audio of law enforcement talking. I listen to McClellan. I'm just listening for key things that I could pick up on that maybe somebody else won't.
I think you have to add it.
How do I do that?
It should be down there.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
There
Add
we
to
go.
stream. Okay.
We know that voice was captured from her cell phone. We know this image was captured from her cell phone. Keep in mind, all of you are in the television business. What do you see out of the TV? You see this. You don't see what's over here. You don't see what's over here. So there's lots more that we're looking at.
See, lots more that we're looking at. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then Carter was asked. I think it was on either the 3-year or the 4-year that I listened to again, and he was asked why no more info was given, and McClellan was asked the same thing. And basically, in not so many words, the way they're saying it is that there's no reason to add anymore. There's no reason to give anymore. So is that because they know who they're looking at, and giving the public the info doesn't help them? It could actually hurt them. You know, it's always tough when you get to a point where it's like, if the public wants more, the family wants more, but if we give more, we could damage the case. And
The part that bothers me is when people talk about the specifics of the crime scene. Like they start talking about certain specifics that only the killer, and maybe a few law enforcement may have leaked, or maybe a few searches here and there, like the very, very gruesome, disgusting specifics. Why would you share that? That could be the most important part of this case. That could be what verifies a witness. That could verify the killer itself. That's the thing that bothers me overall over everything else.
That they're
It's
not giving it?
No, that people are trying to
yeah.
leak that information out there.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. The people have to understand, like, I know there was been like things put out there in the last month, like, oh, Murder Sheet's trying to be first with info, or this person's trying to be first. I don't think it comes down to that. Nobody should want to be first with leaking info that could end up hurting this case when it goes to court. You know what I mean? That's just foolish, because at the end of the day, 2 girls were brutally murdered, children brutally murdered. And if I was given something that could actually damage this case, you got to be an asshole to share that. Doesn't matter.
We have to be specific, because a lot of people, they're not real sure on what it is that could damage a case, because a lot of stuff is just First Amendment stuff, or rumors, or just common knowledge stuff, and some people just really freak out about it.
It's if somebody working in law enforcement leaked out something that could damage this case going to court, as to Tony Klein was seen walking, through the river. You know what I mean? Through the creek. Something that could blow this case wide open, to where you're giving a potential attorney time to prepare. You know what I mean? It's just you don't want to destroy, like, even going to the murder weapon. I mean, I've told you many times, on a hypothetical, I feel it's a hatchet or a machete. I could end up being wrong on that, but the excessive blood loss, you're talking about a violent strike. You know what I mean? It's something that would cause a serious gash in the body, where blood is pumping out of that thing, going to the, the artery of the leg and bleeding somebody out. That's just me from my experience. I'm not giving anything that is definite. You know what I mean? It's when you have something that's definite.
Well, not to mention the affidavit. The affidavit mentions.
Oh yeah. Well, that confirms what we've spoken about for months. Yeah. It's confirmed. That's why people are like, oh,
or here's a better one. Here's a better one. Or why leak whether or not there was a sexual assault? Like, why even go that route?
100%.
That's something. Yeah, I think that's going to be, the killer
100%.
would know that 100%. So
yeah,
anybody that would ever attempt to leak something like that, I think they're definitely crossing the line.
Yeah, no, that's a good point to make. That's a good point to make. It's just I do think we're very close, and I think that they have most of what they need, but their play now is, listen, we're closing in on 6 years. We're getting one shot when we go in the courtroom, and we want that one shot to be 100%, not an 80-20, not a 70-30. They want to know that this persons are going behind bars for life, and that they're not going to lose a trial. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to want the death penalty. This is going to be high profile.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, what would take the death penalty off, and we've spoken about this before, is if they don't have it and they know who the person is, but they can't get over the hill. But by making a deal with that person, saying, "Listen, we'll take the death penalty off. It'll be life in prison if you confess." That's the only way death penalty's coming off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what they did. That's what they did to Chris Watts. You know,
and that's to spare the family, I believe, right? The long, harsh trial going through that process.
Yeah, and having to relive every moment. You know, listen, your family member is brutally murdered. You're going to be in that courtroom every day. Look at the trauma you're seeing in Florida right now with the shooter, Nicholas Cruz. The family members are going in. They got to testify because this is about is he going to get? This is just about is he getting the death penalty or not? And seeing these people on the stand, their life is destroyed, and they still got to go in there and spend hours on a stand talking about what this guy did by murdering their family member, you know, their child. You know, it's just,
yeah,
if they can't get over the hump,
they got to wake up in the morning. They got to get dressed. They got to get all dressed up. They got to make sure their hair is looking all nice, and
they look at the door to the bedroom that the person's not in anymore.
Yeah,
and that's the same
nobody
thing.
Getting ready.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's nobody getting ready with them. Why are we getting ready? Why do I have to? Yeah, it's the whole thing is just a mess for them.
It is. Sorry. It's a mess. It's a mess, and it's relived over and over again. And it's, you know, Becky Patty went down to the river when they were doing the search. She went down there, I think, after they were done for the day. Just wanted to, you know, see for herself with her eyes. And that's what I'm saying. It's like when you have all this out there, they're getting smacked around daily. You know.
Yeah, but this isn't nothing new for them. They're
no, but
they've already gone. We got a small taste last weekend of what just a tiny fraction of what they go through on a daily basis. So they already can see it coming a mile away. Like they're like, no.
And I reached out to somebody that's in Indiana close by, and they said there was a very large funeral. There was 20 police cars used. That's when I emailed you. I said, listen, I heard there's 20 cars in a funeral. So that might be what it is. I don't, you know, and that's why I didn't put a video out on it, because it's like, let's see, you know, if there's an arrest coming, let's get the arrest and let's hurrah after it happens. You know, but
that's the first place I went was Becky's Facebook. I was like, okay, all this noise, I'm gonna go see what's going on over here.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they're gonna know once those bracelets are put on. That call is gonna come from Doug Carter. We got him, we got them. You know, either it's him or them, and that call is gonna come, and they're gonna know first. You know.
And if they did find anything, let's say they did find something, which I'm hopeful that they did, it's going to take possibly months to kind of analyze that and for all that stuff. And maybe it's worthless. Maybe it's not going to provide any fruit. So they're not going to come out and be like, yeah, we found this and we found that, without it being 100% useful. I mean, why would they do that?
It's true. It's true. You know, and think about this, right? How Becky and her family got destroyed for cleaning out Libby's room finally after 5.5 years, because she put a post up about how she did it. It's a proud moment. I think we talked about it. It was the week that we were on live together. I came on.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff that I think would be the hardest for me to make that step. So,
and they made that step, and what happened? You had assholes on YouTube picking it apart, like, oh, they don't care. Oh, they're. I mean, it's like. Those are raw emotions.
No, they said they dumped the stuff. They said they dumped the stuff from the cleaning, and that's what they were searching for in the river.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what the fuck, man? Come on. There's no that piece that she typed up. There was no going back and editing it. She put her raw feelings down and hit post. But of course, that gets everything that they do gets second guessed and just destroyed. It's terrible.
You just have to
double
ignore it.
rainbows. That's amazing to hear. Keep fighting. That's great to hear. Cancer is, we're in 2022, and you would think that, my grandmother died of cancer 30 years ago, and I really thought that 30 years later we'd be in a different place. Technology and cancer treatment has evolved, but not as well as it should. A 45-year-old healthy guy shouldn't get cancer and die 8 months later. Hold on one sec. I gotta take care of my dog a sec. If you want to read comments, I'll be right back.
What's up, Aspen? We got here Zen, Moon Crystal. Ooh, what's up, Chick Pete? Hey, what's good, bloke? Rockaway, Angel Bear, Zooter, D. Did you change your name, D? D Ash. Never Silent says some families want the long trials though, because it feels like more justice is being served. I've come across that with translating. It's a good point. Yeah, maybe they want the death penalty.
All right, sorry. She wanted to go outside. I don't know if you saw. I had to come in about 10 minutes late. I took her for a walk, and she likes to chase things. She chased a couple of deer, and I think she hooked maybe a pricker on her paw and ripped open the pad. It was disgusting.
Damn.
Yeah, she's okay. And then the bleeding stopped and everything, but I had to bandage her up. But she took it off again. So
it never stops with these animals, I tell you.
No. I mean, she's a Malinois. She's just crazy. I'm trying to catch up. I know I'm like 30 minutes behind on 30 minutes behind on the chat here. So what else have you? Aspen still here? I'm still catching up. Adam, what's going on, man? Thanks, Double Rainbow. Yeah, it was so terrible. We saw that already.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do some live streaming from my while I'm on vacation. We go up to we go to this place called Coeur d'Alene up in Idaho.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna be out there for about 7 days, and
cool.
I got it planned out to where I'm gonna do some live streaming and maybe do like a little tour. I might even do a little bit of live streaming from their golf course is amazing, dude.
Yeah, so definitely let me know if you can do any lives about Delphi. I'll come on and hang with you.
Yeah, I have at least 3 that I have planned.
Oh, cool.
Because there's some points where me and my wife she's gonna be at the spa, and then I'm gonna have some downtime to myself.
That's awesome.
So, yep,
that's awesome. Listen, you have to get away when you can. You have to get away when you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anything else. You got to take advantage and get some vacations in. Rockways wants to know, were you a Navy SEAL?
Was I a Navy SEAL?
You Sleuth,
No.
were you a Navy SEAL?
I didn't even pass my ASVAB.
I think it's the beard. It might be your beard. A lot of retired SEALs have the crazy beard going.
Yeah, I'll do 100 push-ups on a good day. I can hold my breath maybe a minute and 30 seconds if I'm lucky, but I might pass out.
I just think of the City Police Academy, man. 6 miles running around the gym. Could you imagine?
Well, I used to run when I was younger.
In the summer.
Morning, I was a runner.
Gym was 120 degrees, and all of a sudden you just hear this. Boom. Somebody clocking out, just dropping. They get taken. They just get picked up and carried across the street to Cabrini. The hospital was right across the street. It was so horrible.
But 6 miles, that's a bit.
6 miles around every 26 laps was a mile. It was so friggin' brutal.
I had a buddy who ran 10 miles, but you got some of these guys who are just like born natural athletes, and it's like nothing to them.
Well, Listen, running outside, we would run on the FDR Drive. That was amazing. But running around the gym in August when it's 120 degrees in there, you know, there's no air conditioning. They had those big floor fans just blowing hot air in your face. Terrible.
When you're young, you can take it.
Yeah, I was 22 years old. You just keep going.
Yeah, you don't even care.
I was a puppy. Nah, I was a puppy.
You're like, if I pass out, oh well.
Running 6 miles and then going outside, going to get dinner right around the corner and smoking a couple cigs. How terrible is that? But that was the truth. That was the truth. Hey, Marsh, hope you're doing well. It's all good. We're here. You're here. We're here. Glad you made it.
What's up, Eminem? Good to see you.
So, hey, I wanted to ask you. I know. I don't know if you had the person on or if you just played their style. I just caught a little bit of it. The unsolved guy with the source. What did you take of that? I mean, listen, I think he did the right thing by putting it out there and letting people decipher what they want from it. You know.
I think what happened is, I think that Kagan did tell law enforcement. He didn't just tell this guy. I think he only told this guy because he had already told law enforcement.
Because he told law enforcement.
Yeah, it's no longer a secret. So if he tells this guy, who's this guy going to tell? Law enforcement?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He already did.
Cold truth, I did a video on it, and I got a lot of heat because people are saying that I was saying that they traveled on the river from Peru to Delphi. That's not what I was meaning. All I was showing is that if you walk north off of Ron's property, you could enter the Wabash there, and you could actually take it down to where it meets Deer Creek. That's all I was getting at. But I was getting the craziest emails. Oh yeah, Keegan's the Deer Creek murderer now. Like you know how you get some crazy people. That's not what I was saying at all. That they were traveling, paddling from Peru to Delphi. But it's just the way it is. I ran 7.5 minute mile in high school and smoked like a freight train. Yeah. When we were kids, we were able to do that. Our lungs just didn't take the beat.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be with a bunch of guys. All we did was run and eat healthy and box and stuff, but we would smoke blunts. We'd pull up to the track and we'd smoke a
roll
fat
a
blunt
couple up.
And we would run our miles, dude. We'd run our miles. We'd run the up and down the stairs on the stadium.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, listen, high school was interesting. I mean, we were drinking vodka back then. It was the 90s.
Yeah, man. Now I wake up funny and I hurt my left ankle, and I think it's just because I stood up too fast. Get old, man. Getting old.
Yeah, we are getting old. We are getting old. We're getting old too quick, man. I still feel like a puppy sometimes, though.
Yeah, I have my moments.
But when I play soccer with the kids, I played football, and I never played soccer, but at their age, soccer's the thing. So we kick the ball around, have a good time. Got to beat them, though. They get pissed, but you got to win. I'm like, Daddy doesn't just give in here. We're gonna play.
Yeah, for real. Hope you got your shin guards.
Oh, boss, no problem. Yeah, no shin guards for me. I've taken a couple kicks from them though. They're brutal. Just going through. I think I'm all caught up here. TCD. Who is TCD? That's a content person, right? True crime design. Yeah.
YouTuber.
Yeah, doing I guess they're
She's
family.
Yeah, I think there was a post I seen the other day. It was like, Kelsey, turn yourself in or something. It was right then. I was just like, okay, if there was at any point I was gonna give your channel a chance, that was the
they smoked the chance up like one of those blunts. They smoked it right to hell.
Because when you're new, you get it. You can make a lot of mistakes. You're not like we don't know. We're not an expert like you are. CD. We don't know what the hell we're talking about most of the time. So until we figure that out, it took me a year.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's like anything else though. I mean, you do this enough, and you dig through the reports, and you learn. You can learn how to sleuth pretty good by just diving into the reports and just getting into the mind of how law enforcement thinks. It's just like anything else. It's learned. It's a learned trait.
Practice makes
Anybody can
perfect.
learn it. Yeah, anybody can learn it. Listen, I've worked with people that you question how the hell do they get this job, but that's just that's just the way it is. They need New York City. They need numbers. My class was, I think there was 17. It was a big class. It was 1,700 of us that started, and I think under 1,300 of us graduated. So think about how many people that is. It's a lot of people.
Wow.
There's a lot of fillers in there. I got a 97 on my test to get into the city. I think I got one question wrong. But that was my second time taking it. First time I took it, I think I was 19, maybe 18 or 19. I got an 84, and I'm like, there's no way. I got to get higher than this. I got 97. I think it was like 97.8. Yeah. Thanks, Overcomer. Loke, good to see you, man. Great seeing you. I haven't seen you in a bit. Good seeing you.
You missed one. Jessica
Where?
Bishop says, CD, do you think there will be an arrest eventually?
I do. I'm not going to say a time frame again, because I said I was very hopeful back in April that it was going to be the end of June, and I just don't want to. I don't want to do that again. But I do feel we're close. I really do. I felt we were close back in April. I just think that they are gaining ground, and it's more or less now. They want the prosecutor to say we're lock, stock, and barrel here. We're going to be ready to go. They don't. You don't want to take a loss on a case like this. It's just the way it is.
Be a good win for Indiana.
It will be. It'd be a great win for these families. They take a lot of abuse from people online. It's gross. You know what the sad part is? If it's a family that doesn't really look at it, it's one thing. But they do look. They want to know. Becky Patty wants to see what's going on. So that's what's tough. You did. That's nice.
Yeah.
She's a very good person, very nice. Sweet
She's
person.
amazing.
And very down to earth. Very down to earth.
Well, she was nice to me, so that's cool.
That's good. That's nice. I've been speaking to somebody in the family, and it's tough. I don't want to give away who it is, because just don't. This is not right. But I feel for them a lot. A lot. It just, a lot of information just isn't given, and they just have a lot of questions. They have a lot of questions, and one day they will get them.
And that goes just kind of to what you were saying. Like, she's out there, like she's very what do you call it, approachable, I guess.
Yeah.
And willing to talk about things. So it's not like she's just trying to get over it and move on. Like, she's
very true.
Right there at the front lines, and she's still right there. You know what I mean?
Very true. Yeah. And the whole thing is that they want a conclusion. They want arrest. So they got their ear to the ground. When you have these people making videos and just destroying them as human beings, and some of these Facebook groups, it's lazy, and it's just gross. It's just gross. It's like, let them be. Take it easy.
Well, let me ask you a question about that. Do you think that they really believe that, or that they're just like running with that?
No, I think that they're running with that because they have issues of their own, and it's enjoyable to them. Yeah, there's people that want other people to be in pain, and if they can create a little extra pain, they get off on that. It's just, we have a lot. We always want to think that people have good hearts, but we know a lot of people don't. There's a lot of people out there that enjoy the hurt and seeing people sad. It's just. We're in a tough world. This world's got to change. There's got to be more people out there that want to help,
man.
Want to do.
Personal responsibility.
Yeah,
I say time and time again.
Yeah. Listen, the whole thing is, if you don't want to be nice to people, then just stick to yourself. But don't go out of your way to try and hurt people. It just doesn't. It doesn't get anywhere. It really doesn't. And you're hurting good people. You know, the Patties yes, there's family members in the Patty family. Like any other family in America, you have some bad apples in the family that have criminal records. That doesn't mean that they were bad parents. Some of the best people I know that were parents, their kids got caught up in the wrong thing and turned into career criminals. It wasn't the parents' fault. They did everything possible, you know. Some of the problem is that they coddle a little bit too much, thinking that their kid's going to turn around, and then they don't, you know. But that's, you know, it's not, oh, they're bad parents. It's not that. Sometimes you just have a bad apple and there's no bringing them back.
Yeah, I knew a couple bad apples.
Yeah. But Marsh, see, I get that Ellie doesn't want to say cause of death. But Marsh, we know what the cause of death is. You know, we have it even confirmed in the affidavit without even just saying it. You know, it's excessive blood loss. You know, that's
right there.
It's murder by a bladed weapon. So,
which pretty much excludes Ron Logan, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, you don't remember that one part in there, how they wanted to make sure that it was put in there how Ron carried his firearm with him every day, and he had a fanny pack that, you know, carried him. You know, he could carry it in that also. So, what was the reason for that? Was a gun shown at the end of that video? You know, to take control of the girls, like, you know, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like when people say like, oh, why is anybody still looking at Ron Logan's affidavit? The guy's dead. Because everything in there is factual.
Yeah, not to mention
it's a wealth. It's a wealth of knowledge. You know,
half the
line by
information we
line.
possess came directly from that affidavit.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just, it confirms so many things that I've been saying for a year, because it's just there. It's there for you to dive in. And
Cold Truth brought something up that I somehow I just kind of like lost my train of thought, but she was talking about the no sign of a struggle.
Yes. Yeah, no sign of struggle. That and people are saying, like, because you're going to think about it, right? Somebody's going to strike you with something. What are you going to do? Arm's going to go up. Your arm's going to go up. Why didn't arms go up?
Turned around.
No, they were probably. I mean,
bound.
To me, they were bound some way. You know.
So then moved the multiple crime scenes then.
Well, I mean, the initial crime scene is where they were abducted. You know, they were taken from the bridge. So I mean, think about how expansive that crime scene is. You're looking for anything that fell. You know, you got to, and that's the problem.
I guess
people stomp that whole area. You know,
what I'm trying to say is if they were chased and they ran across that creek and had to kind of do their best to make it up the bank with all the brush that's right there, there would be signs of a struggle.
Oh, you're talking about like just like ground disturbance.
No, I'm just talking about them on their bodies. There's going to be scratches. There's going to be dirt in the fingernails. You know, there's going to be.
But if they're bound and their hands are behind their back or even in front of them, there's only so much you're going to do. You know, there's only so much you're going to gain. But yeah, it's showing in there that there was no defensive wounds or anything. That's pretty telling. You know, that is pretty telling.
There's so much we don't know. That's what that tells me.
Mm-hmm. Johannes, yeah, there are some wacky people, but the problem is when you have people who rallying behind them and giving them views, you're giving them a space to just keep going. Captain Howdy, 100%, and that's the sad part. There are people that follow this case that want to hurt them. That's true. That's 100% true. And listen, it's not for me to say who to watch and who not to watch, but you know, if you're a good person, you make your own decision.
Most importantly, the evidence doesn't even point in that direction.
Yeah, so. It doesn't. I mean, like I said yesterday, I don't know if you weren't around yesterday. What I was saying yesterday is that the amount of times that the family members were interviewed, even just, you know, they traveled with them to different shows and stuff. There's so much that the family members let their guard down, that a mistake would have been said without even knowing it. That if a family member was involved, they would have been arrested already. You know, it's just your guard comes down as you're with people more and more. and they were around Doug Carter constantly. A mistake would have happened by now, and it didn't. Nothing points that way. There's nothing, but that's just the sickness of people.
There's a question here from Kelly. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me see here. Let me go back to her question. She says, it says no defensive wounds, ?
Here it is.
Or that at the scene they were found there was no sign of a struggle. It actually says both.
I believe it says, I'm just using defensive wounds because that's what I took from no sign of a struggle. I don't believe the affidavit says defensive wounds.
It does. I have it.
Oh,
here.
Okay.
That's
so
what I'm going to pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you hear no sign of a struggle, it's just showing that, the way they were contained and controlled, they didn't have an opportunity to protect themselves. It's just natural. If somebody's coming at you with something, your arms go up. It's just the way our bodies are. We respond. And there was no response.
I must have moved that sheet. Let me pull up the full thing. I thought I had it saved in place somewhere.
That's okay. Let me see. I have it here somewhere.
Okay. Here it is. Similar fibers. No visible signs of a struggle or fight.
Okay. Yeah, that's very telling. It's very telling.
All right. Can you permit
people
that
say,
on
well,
here?
why didn't they? Yeah, people say, well, why didn't they put in there that there's no defensive one? Because they don't need to go into that detail for a search warrant. They gave enough info in there.
So right here, no visible signs of a struggle or fight, and then also, hold on. And then in that
remind me to send you something later.
In that same affidavit, I will. Same affidavit is where they mentioned that they lost a whole lot of blood and that they would suspect that it would be on the suspect.
Say that again?
In that same probable cause affidavit, it mentions that they lost so much blood that they would expect that it would be on the suspect.
Oh yeah. It did say that. Yep. And that also tells me that that's how violent it was. Think about it, right? If you stab somebody in their stomach or even close by their heart, the blood's going to come out. But when you use something with force and strike that person, where splatter, this is talking about splatter coming back. That's how violent this was. Glenn, I believe they have. They should have the whole Dropbox from the devices. No, cold truth. Signs of a struggle is what's under. Is there anything under their fingernails? Did they fight back? That's signs of a struggle. It's pretty much what it is, and that's why when you're taking any two people, two girls, two boys, two of anybody, and even if you're one person, it's very hard to control two people. It's much easier when you zip tying their hands, duct taping their hands, some way to gain the control
or convince them somehow to do it on their own. Come this way.
Yeah, even if somebody is holding a gun to them.
Compelled.
Captain Howdy, good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Later, Captain.
Zen Monkey says, true crime, dirty B. Oh, Captain has a new video out today. I got to give it a watch later. I didn't know that.
I shared it on my channel if you need that.
Oh, link. Cool. Is it good? Yeah. What was it in regards to?
It was everything we're talking about.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Definitely
But
check
he
it out.
did go into a lot of stuff about the 2019 presser and how,
Okay.
if you take into consideration, he's not talking to the killer, he's talking to maybe the killer's accomplice, let's say Kagan Klein. And when you put it in that context, man,
Mhm.
it just put everything into like a whole new light. I was like, wow. So it's a
Well,
really good video.
Fig was in here right in the beginning. That might be why Fig asked me, do I think that law enforcement knew who they were talking to at the presser in
Mhm.
2019? And I
It seems
I,
so.
I didn't, but I did after Keegan and after the arrest.
Well, he left
just
out
everything fits.
he left out an important part in reference to the car guy, or the car guy references changing gears. In the
Mhm.
affidavit, he even asked Kagan straight up, like, "Are you a car guy?"
Yeah, no, he did. Well, that's why did he do that? You know what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah,
why was
why?
that so important? You know,
Like he
oh,
wasn't
I
talking
picked up
about
on
the he
that
wasn't talking
switching
about
gears.
switching gears, but he wasn't talking
Yeah.
about the Lamborghini and the Ferrari.
No, he was just
Like,
talking in general
yeah,
about somebody's interest. You
hmm
using those words. There's so many other ways to say it, but talking about switching gears, it was totally aimed at a certain party. You know,
yep.
the whole thing is you want that person's attention, and you want them to think, oh, they must be that must be aimed at me. They wanted that.
And it probably is pretty torturous.
Oh yeah.
Think
I mean,
about it.
listen, if
That guilt.
if it's not even about, I mean, there's guilt, but it's also the when, are they coming, like even that picture that his friend put up a few weeks back, like Peru's most wanted guy with
Oh
him.
yeah,
Listen, you
offensive.
could joke all you want, but if you're the guy and they're going to be coming for you, it's coming. Cold Truth said, how do you feel about death penalty cases? Uh, I'm all for death penalty cases. I think you got on right after me and Sleuth were talking about it. The only way I feel that the death penalty wouldn't come for this case is if the only way they're going to get the finality of this case and have somebody prosecuted is to make a deal of taking the death penalty off the table. That's the only way I feel that the death
Full
penalty would come
disclosure,
off.
something like that, right? Full disclosure.
Yeah. You want everything. I want to know everything. Start A to the end, so we complete this. Give us everything, and we'll take the death penalty off. They did it with Chris Watts. I mean, think of Chris Watts,
Mm-hmm.
the wife and the kids, killed everybody, and they tried to say that the mother-in-law didn't want it, but listen, they wanted that case done and him away forever, because there's
And it
no
still
reason
seems
to
like
let
we
them
don't know
relive that.
everything about it.
We don't. We
Seem,
definitely. I agree. Could there be more to it? I think it's highly possible.
that case
Highly
gives me
possible.
chills every time. Those
Dude,
poor girls.
think about it this way. Somebody knows they're going to do that to their children, and they're able to feed them pizza, tuck them in for the night, and then do that later. Just think
Daddy,
about that.
this is what they guarantee. They said, "Daddy, like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this, Daddy?"
And remember that, it was like, I guess it was within a few months before that, the daughter sang that song, "Daddy is my hero."
Oh my gosh,
Dude, how fucked are you in the
man!
head
There's sometimes I
to
pass my
hurt your
daughter's
children?
my daughter's room, and I have to check to make sure she's still breathing. I'm like,
100%. I
"You're
mean,
so.
that's
Why are
just the
you
way
in
we
here
are.
so
It's like,
calm?" Okay, she's breathing.
it's like you
Shut
open the door and you're like, oh,
Okay,
it's just, that's a parent. That's unconditional love for your child. To think that what the hell switched in this man's brain, to go where he went.
I don't
That's
think
why.
anything switched. I think he was just always sick, and the family is something that he tried to wear until he was ready to wear a new one. It
Well,
means nothing
that's the
to
whole
him.
thing is, I mean, think about it. If he never met that girl, this might have never happened.
Yeah, he was
You
gonna
know,
wear. He's like a crab, moving from one shell to the next. But
that girl really
when you're
rocked
so
his world,
psychotic,
man.
if
Yeah.
you are that crazy that you can kill your own children the way he did, he had no feeling. He was
No.
just doing his best to play human. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. But I mean, it's just that case is beyond disturbing, because there definitely
Cool.
could be more there.
Chameleon.
Vanessa said family annihilators are worse. That's 100% true. And you know what's sick is, since COVID happened, we have seen so many cases of even mothers. I mean, there was that case. What was it? It was maybe a month ago. The mother killed her 3 kids in the ocean. She drowned each one at a time. She went and drowned her kids.
That
It was
happens
New
more
York
often
City.
than people think.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is something that happens, but since COVID and lockdowns and people's mental health going worse, in the last couple of years, it's been off the charts, the amount of people who have done this. You know,
Yeah, I
it's
covered a
like,
case that happened early this year or late last year. There was a woman, she was wandering around a canal that basically separates two neighborhoods, and the backyards come all the way to the edge of this canal. Well, she was wandering back there, and she would come up to homes and say, "Hey, can I baptize you?" Well,
wow.
about 3 hours later, come to find out, just before that, she had drowned 3 of her daughters.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can you believe that?
I could, because that's how sick people are, man. You know, I mean, remember the guy? There was the guy in Indiana. I think he had 2 kids or 3 kids. It was had to be over the summer. He was missing, and I think Adam might have sent it, or somebody sent it in Messenger. And just looking at the guy's eyes, I said, my instant response was, I don't think this is going to end well, because you saw like one of his last pictures. The guy looked emaciated, like he was like bones. So you could see like he was probably suffering with maybe depression or whatnot. He just didn't look well,
Mhm.
and he ended up killing everybody in the car, drove them into the water. You know, it's like, what the hell's happening in this world? You know, it's like, listen, mental health is it's so important to get help. You know, it really is. There's people that suffer with it every day, no matter what it is. It's like, please get help. There's, you know,
Well, make sure you get the right help too,
the right
because
help.
I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
all
listen,
this
I'm
misdiagnosing
not,
and medication
yeah,
and all that
I'm not
stuff
all
too is not
for,
helping.
yeah, no, I'm not all for being overly medicated to where people are
Hmm.
numb, because that turns bad too. But, you know, it's like, you got to find a healthy balance, you
Yep.
know. It's like anything else. It's you know, if you're abusing medication or you know, drugs, to, you know, please help
Or
yourself,
just
help your
or just smoke
kids.
a lot of pot.
Yeah, I mean, something has to change to where you know, you're safe and your kids are safe. You know, it's just it's a horrifying thing to think about, that what goes on out there. You know, I
Be
mean,
careful.
you make sure you watch the end of my video yesterday, because I got a couple people emailing me saying, "Oh, how amazing it is to see you talk about because my son turned 2, and it just talking about him. It just, you know, it lightens you up, dude. It makes you smile when you think of your kids. You
Yeah,
know,
it
and it
does.
just, how the hell somebody could get to that end. I just don't. I know. I mean, I told you the case I had where the mother killed her 18-month-old. You know, banged her head into the wall, tried to blame it on the new boyfriend that she was trying to hook up
Mm.
with. The kid,
Postpartum
no, it
scenario.
wasn't postpartum. The kid woke up, and she was trying to make the kid shut up, because she was trying to hook up with the guy in the other room. So she slammed the kid's head into the wall twice. We got
Oh
her,
man.
dude. She was on her way. The family was hiding her, man. We took that door down. We found her in the closet. But even after killing her child, her father was trying to protect her. But we got her, man. We got her. But it's just,
Yeah, it's almost like the father's a victim in
and
that scenario
honestly,
also.
she was from, I believe she's from Haiti, and there was no remorse, dude. There was talking to her. The kid was like a handcuff to her life, you know. And you know what's weird is that she had a loving, pretty large family. Talk to your family. Let the kid live with your parents. You know, there's other ways. There's
Oh,
other
Aspen says
ways.
Kyle Mormon is the name you were looking for. That
Yeah,
guy in
yeah,
Indiana.
yeah, 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 yeah. Terrible. You know, just there's too many things. You know, you're seeing. You know, all over the country. There, you know, and I want to say that there was another mother that did it in the house, and the neighbor was saying like, oh, you know, the kids were always outside playing. Maybe a couple months ago. It's happening everywhere. It's happening way too much, and a lot of it could have been how the lockdowns. You know, lockdowns put people over the edge, man. They did. You know, it fucked our country up. People's
Changed my
health were put in
life.
jeopardy. You know, think about it. People's health were in jeopardy.
That's
That
what I was
that
gonna say.
needed.
My whole health. I mean, I was on a good path, health
Yeah,
wise.
yeah, yeah. It really damaged a lot of people, to where even people that could have been diagnosed with cancer, that weren't able to go to a hospital because they weren't taking appointments because of COVID. It's like, Listen, yeah, I mean, we had a pandemic, but at the same time, you can't stop healthcare for people that could be getting sick. You know, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? This is America. You know, people shouldn't have died the way they did in April of
We could have done
2020.
better.
We could have done better. And I'm sorry. I mean, living in New York, I saw firsthand at the amount of deaths in New York City, and a lot of that to me was Cuomo, the governor, feuding with the mayor.
Yeah, politics. All of it was politics
Both
on
Democrats,
both sides.
dude. Democrats.
Yeah, both sides.
They hated each other. They couldn't work together. You know, the amount of deaths, you could see it. There's people did YouTube videos on it about just the extensive deaths in New York City, 8,000, 9,000 in a day, to where the funerals barely didn't even exist. It was like they were doing 5 funerals in a day. It was just basically some of these funeral homes were having the funerals in the parking lot. The casket was in the parking lot of a funeral home, and they were paying their respects by just driving by the funeral home. How the hell are you saying goodbye to your loved one like that? You know, it's just crazy.
Well, hopefully those times are behind us, because that was a rough run.
Yeah, very rough run. Very. And it's sad. It's very sad and very tragic when you think about it. It's like, what are we doing? This is America. This is supposed to be the best healthcare in the world. And people were just dropping all over the place, you know? And think about it, right? Think about, oh, we need ventilators. We need more ventilators. That was the worst thing to do, was putting people on ventilators. They never came off. Dude, I was traumatized from ventilators with my dad. I told you, my dad took a fall. He was out by the pool, fell onto the gauge. Dude, he was put on a ventilator, and that's what's put in your mind. My dad was 81 years old. You know, they gave him like 20% odds of getting off the ventilator. My dad's doing very well today. You know, thank God he recovered and he's doing well. But it could have took a bad turn. You know, it could have took a very bad turn.
The iron lung.
He punctured his lung. Yeah, he cracked 3 ribs. You know, he cracked the worst ribs you can, right here into the back, and it punctured his lung. And dude, wow. Just he was up by his pool for like 30 seconds, under a minute, and he just fell. It's just scary. But yeah, man, it's like our country has to do better. It has to do better. Like, look at what's going on in Florida right now. Biden went down there and basically said to, I don't know who the guy, he might have been the mayor of Fort Myers that he's visiting, and he said, nobody fucks with a Biden. Like, what, dude? You're the president of the free world. Why are you playing games with the governor of Florida right now? Who cares? People lost everything. They lost their lives down there, and you're doing bullshit politics. But that's the sad part, is that politics never ends, you know?
Well, it's because you can't let up, because the other side's trying just as hard to sabotage you as, you know, both sides are trying to go at each other so bad. If you let up for one moment on your side of the politics and show one sign of weakness, they'll get you.
You know what that shows is
they
that
can't stop. It's a runaway train.
Do better. Yeah, it's not even about one side. Everybody's got to do better. You know, this country should be so much better. It should. It shouldn't be divided like this. You know, and I think the guy's crazy. But what's the rapper's name that wore the White Lives Matter the other day? And now they're trying to. Adidas is like going to cancel him because
Kanye West.
Kanye, because he's saying how, you know, the Black Lives Matter fundraisers were like a sham or whatnot. You know, I guess because they're getting exploited, that they were buying homes with all this money instead of helping people in the poor inner cities. How about helping stop what's going on in Detroit with all the murders? You know, the violence that's going on daily. Like, this is an American city. Why isn't it stopping? You know, it's because they really don't give a shit. It's because they don't give a shit.
Just ignore it.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Not there.
Yeah, I mean, really though, like when you think about like Chicago, Detroit, the murders that are going on, young kids killing each other for what? You know, you don't see. I'll be honest. I mean, yeah, New York City has crime. You don't see that shit happening every day. Because what they do? They flood it. You know, each county within New York City, Bronx Task Force, Queens Task Force. When you have like violent crime and it starts to elevate in a certain area. It's flooded with task forces, all foot patrol. And let me tell you something, you shut it down. And that's what you have to do. But let me tell you something. It's no joke, man. I worked.
They're not doing that anymore.
Well, in New York. No, not right now. No, not
Yeah.
right now. But when I first got on, it was called Razor, and it was Valentin Avenue. Look up Valentin Avenue in the Bronx, man. Wild. You want to talk about Wild West? You know, just walking down that street in a police uniform, you are a target.
I remember back in the 80s too. It was pretty bad over there.
Valentin Avenue, man. I'll tell you, it is no joke. I honestly thought I was going to get thrown off the roof of one of the apartment buildings because the guy I was with like a salty veteran. And
Was
never
that
worked
pre Giuliani?
Yeah, no, it was after Giuliani. It was Bloomberg. Bloomberg was in, and the guy I was with, it's like you're everybody's like, I think it was 2 cops from each precinct and a boss from 2 of the precincts would get sent to these areas. And the guy I was with, it's like, I'm like looking around, like, this guy's got 25 years on. Why is he even here? You got seniority like that, you're not sent to Razor. It's like this guy liked to go. Yeah. And he was messing with the gangs and he was writing parking tickets. I'm like,
he was a gangster too.
Oh, he almost got us killed one night. We had our back. We had to call 1013 where cops came from everywhere. We had our backs to the elementary school there by the gates because this guy was just messing with them and we got surrounded. It was going to turn pretty hairy, man. But that's just, you know, some guys need to retire when they get to that point, and he was out of his mind, you know. But that's just, it's like any job. You got people.
Cops. Yeah, some people just shouldn't be cops.
I also think that he was at the point where it was time to retire, but I don't know. He was kind of like, I guess he just didn't want to, but he ended up retiring a little bit after that. But that's where I met him, and I'm like, wow, this guy's a psycho. I had another guy who used to at the precinct. He used to light the toilet paper rolls. And he used to throw them out the window from the 3rd story at the bosses down below. I mean, dude, this is a cop. Pyro, throwing friggin' lit toilet paper rolls out the window.
He's stuck in that college mentality.
Watching him leave the precinct was like the 60s. He'd open his car door, and he was one of the older guys, so he still had a revolver. Dude, he'd open his car door and just throw his revolver on his passenger seat and drive away. You're like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, you're thinking, like, where am I? What am I doing here? But that's just the old way. You know, it's the old way. It's funny stuff, man. A lot of good memories with some crazy people.
Yeah, I like old school.
Old school is listen. I mean, that's the way I was taught. Even though it was 2001, it was still old school then. You know, the guys training you. It's like basically like what you learned at the academy. You forget. You forget that right now. You're going to learn the streets and how to protect yourself. And that's true. Lynn's question. Where's Lynn's question? Lynn has good questions. Biden's hot mic F-bomb. Yep. What else? What did Lynn say? Well, we got to separate both cases because Keegan's CSAM case isn't the Delphi case. You know, he hasn't been charged yet. His pretrial conference is basically going to go over what they have, and basically they had to keep postponing it because yes, you're entitled to a speedy trial, but you're also entitled to a fair trial. And the amount of documents that they have on him, your defense team has to have enough time to prepare. So a pretrial conference is just going over, you know, your charges and how you're gonna commence the trial, you know. Sometimes pretrial conferences, there's deals put on the table and they're made. But as we know, it's been said that they are not making a deal with Keegan. Unless. And that was what it was, an unless.
A quick question for you, CD.
Yeah.
Is there a way for us in the public to know if there was something like a grand jury put together? Is there any way for us to kind of look or maybe request
grand juries are confidential. The only time you're going to know about a grand jury is when an arrest is made from a grand jury. You know, grand jury deliberated and, you know, arrest is coming.
There's no way to find out publicly.
Only if there's a leak. And usually there isn't a leak, you know. But, you know, that's just grand juries are set up to be, you know, totally confidential. And
would that be a good reason not to do a presser?
What do you mean, not to do a presser?
If there was knowledge that they were putting this grand jury together, like why put together a presser which is a public event when they're trying to kind of be covert right now and they're not ready to make that arrest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're never. I mean, it's the old saying: "Don't put the cart before the horse."
Yeah.
You know, you. There's no reason to have any kind of press conference unless if you're going to grand jury, you want to get that done. Have them convene. Arrest coming, and then arrest press conference. You want to do it in order. But like anything else, I mean, grand juries are there to basically green light it that you have enough.
And also another
you don't
question.
you don't give everything at a grand jury. You give the pieces that you need. This is what we have. You lay it all out, and the jury convenes and makes a decision if you have enough for an arrest.
Do you think they found anything recently in that search of the Wabash River?
Possibly.
Okay.
Personally, I don't think they were looking for a murder weapon.
But it would be I mean, anything discovery, new discovery.
Yeah.
So with this new discovery, without a suspect, you think they would go forward with a presser, but with this new discovery.
But why? Let's just get devil's advocate. What is going to come from giving a press conference?
Just to answer any questions, because a lot of times the family, one of the things they seem most concerned about is people will be confused and they'll think the case is solved, or they're like, oh yeah, that Keegan Klein guy did it, he's in jail for it, or some people even think that Chadwell did it already.
I know. I know there are people still regurgitating Chadwell.
This case isn't as popular to people as much as we think it is.
No.
It's very popular
think
to
about
us.
It, right? Think about it. Right now, a lot of YouTubers, it's only about the new stuff that's coming out. Like people are going through Kylie Rodney's case every day because I got to be honest, because it's probably a moneymaker for them. They're doing lives every day and just regurgitating the same info. And I think they're going to all be sadly mistaken because I truly believe it was just a horrible accident. It's just she was drunk, shouldn't have driven home, and she ended up in the water.
Lost, maybe in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, think about your worst time being drunk and how drunk you were and how there's no way you would have operated a car. You wouldn't be able to. And then take yourself into the woods, no street lights, going down a trail. Things go bad like that, dude. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Totally like that. And then, it's suspect because she ended up in the back of the car. That's where you're going to end up. If you think about it logically, the car's flipping over, you're in the driver's seat, your body's going to go to the back. That's just
yeah, it made sense to me. I said that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So.
And
I've never looked over at the case since.
I'm not knocking, AWP. Listen, they did a great thing finding the car, but they're not cops. They don't investigate crime, because they said, oh, her being in the back of the car is suspect. It's not, though. It's really not.
That doesn't make sense to me.
And also a dive team that actually trained them on sonar. I shared it on my community page. They actually were in Fox News and just basically said that most people that are found in the car are found in the rear hatch. And it's just
because you're gonna bounce around anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
don't know if anybody's ever been in a car.
The car's flipping over this way, your body's going to be going up, and being that intoxicated, you're basically drowning in the water. It's terrible. I was in a car
accident last year, and I had my seatbelt on. My wife didn't, because we were actually very close to our destination.
Yeah,
and we were only doing about 40. We were doing about 45, and she bounced off of the front from the back seat. She bounced off of the front dash and ended up in the back, in the very back seat.
Yeah, it happens, dude. I'll never forget. I was 16 years old. It was just starting to snow. And I'm friends with the kid who my brother actually, they dated for years. My brother actually married his sister. So he was driving the car. My brother's girlfriend was in the passenger seat. I was in the back seat, no seatbelt on. It just started to snow. He took a turn too hard. Instead of hitting the brake, he gunned it. We hit one of those steel school poles. And I actually didn't have a seatbelt on. I broke the back seat. Hitting the front seat, I broke her passenger seat and broke the rear seat. And I got so...
You were long ways flying towards the front.
I got the shit kicked out of me. And ever since then, I'm like, I will wear my seatbelt. You know, there's
Mhm.
times I don't, and you know what? It's stupid, but I was a projectile in the
Oh, I
back of
would
that
have got
car.
smashed. It
Oh,
hurt
it
so
hurt,
bad
man.
where
It
my
hurt.
seatbelt was.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have had that thing on, oh man,
You
my
would
whole
you would have hit the
face.
you would hit the windshield, you know,
Yeah.
and you would have fractured ribs on your steering wheel. People don't get that. I mean, think about it, right? When there's ejections in cars from the person in the passenger seat, the driver takes the steering wheel to their body, so you're fracturing, you're internally
Mhm.
bleeding. Wear your seatbelt. You know, I'm not here to preach it, but it's just
Or don't.
it saves lives. You know, it does. It saves lives.
Consider the alternative.
You know, yeah. I mean, it's just accidents are violent, man. They are violent, and there's no there's no holding on. Your muscles just at impact, your muscles relax, and you just go airborne. I'm just seeing the chats here. Yeah, the video is out. That what is that camera that was that's showing? Is it like some kind of fire camera or something? Some kind of trail camera that shows it. Did you see it, Sleuth?
No, I don't
Oh,
pay
it's
that any
out there.
attention.
No, the Kylie Rodney. It shows that
Yeah.
night, and it shows her vehicle going in the water.
I mean, was there ever even a crime reported on that?
Well, like, what do you mean? Did they say it's a crime? They haven't said anything yet, but I do think it's
I thought it
coming
was like
soon
a
that they're
missing. I
gonna.
thought it was a missing person, and then they found her.
Well, it was a missing person, but initially law enforcement was saying that it was a possible abduction, but there was
But
no
we know
Amber
now it
Alert because
wasn't.
there was no vehicle. Yeah, yeah. Now there wasn't. No. She was found in her car. Most likely, in my opinion, 99%. It's just an accident, a horrible accident.
It's probably hard for people to understand who haven't really like either lived on like a back road or gone camping
Yeah,
or
yeah.
gone hiking. Like if you get lost at night on those back and it's just all dirt roads and everything looks the same.
Even sober,
Yeah, even
you could
sober.
end bad. Yeah, it
You
could
could
end bad.
look
You could go off a
down.
cliff.
Yeah, you could look down at your phone for 1 second and look
Mhm.
up and you could already be airborne. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like already it's too late.
It's very, very true. Very true. You know, and it's like anything else. Giving conspiracy theories right now on that case sells. You know, and it brings viewers.
But
It's like
why?
anything else.
What is the conspiracy? I don't understand.
The
They found
conspiracy
her.
is that because the window was the passenger window was broken and one of the rear windows was down. So did somebody drive her into the water and climb out of the car? That's what's being put out there.
And none of
You
this
know?
has like been put out by law
No,
enforcement or the
nothing.
family.
Law
This is
enforcement
pure
has been,
speculation.
yeah, 100%.
Okay,
Law
well, did they
enforcement has been 100% mum for about a month now. Ever since
what
the
did
car was found, they
AWP
haven't
say?
spoken.
Were they part of the recovery? Because I mean, the window could have
Well,
broken during the recovery.
no. They when they were underwater, the window was broken. It was already broken, and the rear window was down halfway. One of the windows. But AWP did put a video out there, and they have like some kind of witness who was working for AAA that thinks he
Could have hit a tree
spoke.
too.
He
Tree
thinks he
branch.
spoke to her though the Saturday. She went missing Friday night, but it also could be a car just like it. We just don't know because law enforcement's not confirming anything. But the
Well,
problem is AWP did put out there that things are suspect with it, and people have ran with it.
Think about it though. If she's running off road and going towards the lake, and eventually ends up in the lake, she could have easily hit a branch or a small tree and busted out the window on the way.
And
she could have passed out.
barreled right into the water. You know,
Yeah, if you're passed out, you're passed out. There's people that pass out in the middle of freeways.
Think about it. It's pitch black, right? All you got is your headlights. Once you hit that water, right, and the headlight, your vehicle is down, you can't see shit. There's no sight anywhere. So
imagine
even if
getting frustrated, you're lost. You're like, you have no signal on your phone.
Heavily intoxicated.
You're pissed off about something. You just want to go home.
And then
you're
the
lost.
vehicle flips over onto its roof, going down. Think about it. That's a tragic death, man. That's a horrifying way to go.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, it's straight up, flips all the way over, and then it sinks down towards the back, and that's where she ended up.
Yeah.
Kind of just gravity put her back. That makes total sense.
The weight of the vehicle taking water in. Listen, think about it, right? Where's the weight of the car? The engine. So the engine's going to go down, right? And then it just flipped. That's just so many cars are found over on the roof. You know.
So what's the conspiracy about how she got there? I mean, I thought everybody knew she was at a party.
The conspiracy is, right, this was Friday night. She left around 12:30 at night. She left the party. The conspiracy is that Saturday, this AAA guy supposedly saw her with her vehicle, but he has video, but it's locked by the company he works for. He works for AAA.
Oh, they're saying there's a timing issue.
Yes, there's that it didn't happen Friday night. Maybe it happened Saturday, and maybe somebody put her car in the water.
Has anybody talked to this guy? Has he made?
Yeah, AWP spoke to him, and they put the video. You got to watch they put the video out on that.
Oh, so he backs it up.
He backs it. He's the one saying that he actually spoke to them.
Does he say I seen a car similar, or no, I seen her?
He's trying to say factual that it was her, that it was, and that he spoke to her. But the problem is that
that makes him look suspicious.
Yeah, but also what's suspicious?
If anything,
some of her friends resemble her in a sense. Hold on, my dog. I gotta get my dog. She's going bananas. Barking at the birds, just barking at birds. Dog wants to eat the birds. So yes, so some of her friends resemble her. So people are running with that. Oh, her friend might have ended up sinking her car on Saturday and getting. There's just so many conspiracy theories with it. It's just so many conspiracy theories. To me, it's just an absolute tragic case, drowning with an accident, and
until it's not, But I mean,
yeah.
don't make it what it's not.
Don't make it what it's not until and that's the whole thing. I think somebody contacted the FBI, and the FBI
Wait, they said no foul play, right? Law enforcement?
Well, FBI closed their case on it.
Yeah, no foul play.
That's very telling, because FBI was fully involved from the beginning because they felt abduction. They closed their case. They referred them to Nevada County. So that now you're just waiting because of the way the vehicle was found, Nevada County probably doesn't do a lot of accident investigations. They had California Highway Patrol do the accident investigation. So they got to have their report, tie it to Nevada's report, and then the case most likely will be closed out. But the whole thing, it's like anything else. That's like, we want Delphi to be solved, but there's people out there that are just, it's all about, what case is hot right now. And, they're getting the views. They're, some of these, lives about Kylie Rodney have 8,000 people in the chat. Hold on one second. I gotta just plug my iPad in. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. They're and you had the I don't know if you know that. I don't know if he's like a country-ish rap singer, Ryan Church.
Oh, I keep hearing that name.
Well, he was heavy in conspiracy theories. He was trying to say that at one point
Isn't
he was saying
like
that Kylie Rodney didn't exist.
Wait, he's
saying that
famous
she
for
didn't
something,
exist.
right?
Who?
What's he famous for?
He's like a country singer, but he like raps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't really know much about him. I just know that he was pretty far out there. He was trying to say that Kylie Rodney and Gabby Petito were the same person at one point. It was just very wacky. It was really, really out there. But that's just when you stay up for 2 days straight, it doesn't matter who you are sleuthing, you're gonna start coming up with some wacky shit. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
It's just
people are gonna start sleuthing you.
Yeah, but I mean he was going after other YouTubers, basically saying that they're into CP and just going down crazy avenues. But that's just somebody was up above earlier. They were just saying how crazy some true crime communities, how crazy some of them go, and it's just some of these cases take people into dark avenues, man, and they just keep going.
Yeah, you got to take a break. When it's time for a break, you take a break.
Yeah.
It's the way I look at things.
Kelly, that's just the way it is. That's any case, though. Any case, you have people just going in different directions, and some people make stuff up that is total theory, and they make it up as fact, and then people believe it, and it just keeps rolling over. Upchurch is vile. Him and TCD said Kylie. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know he was really going dark, man. He was basically the picture they put out of Kylie Rodney Sleuth. He was saying it wasn't real. It was a fake Photoshop.
Like that happened with Delphi. That's going
And the
on right
problem
now.
is he's
actually.
got like 2 million followers, you know? So when you're putting this out to 2 million people that actually actively follow him, you're going to have crazy theories going, you
Well,
know?
he's not doing anything but shining a light on some of the weird people we spend our time or
Yeah.
spend our lives surrounding ourselves with.
Yeah. Chopper Harris, good night, man.
He didn't make them that
I-
way. They're just like, he's just kind of handing bait out a window, you know, like, hey, and
Yeah.
they're just jumping
Oh,
up at it.
he's really out there. Is Farmer also related to Delphi? Is Farmer? Aren't you friends with the Farmer guy? So
Who?
Farmer?
Derek?
Yeah, I
Derek
think it's
Farmer?
Derek. I think that's who he's talking about. Is
Yeah,
Farmer
that's my
also
boy.
related to? Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
No,
It's
I think he's from like Michigan or something. Yeah, Farmer's. He's a
cold
good
truth.
friend of mine.
Cold truth. What was it when the facts of the case come out? Wouldn't that be the right thing? But let's be honest. We know what's going to happen. They're going to just move on to something else, and that's the problem with YouTube. It's that even though they're going in a totally opposite direction, the next case is going to come, and the viewers are going to be there. It's all about it's like anything else. If you're fueling the fire by watching and hoorahing in their chat, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. You know?
Oh, she said Flint Farmer.
Oh, Flint. Who's that?
That's the case out of Kokomo.
Oh, okay.
He just recently got locked up for Karina McClickens.
Yeah. I didn't know they weren't related. I thought they were cousins or something. So that's how I don't know. Yeah, it's a pretty disturbing case. And you know what disturbs me a lot about that is that law enforcement was there right after she went missing. You know, they were there, and for some reason they went off of him. You know, let's be
Something
happy
about
for the
witnesses.
family. Let's be happy for the family that justice they got him. You know.
Yeah, it was pretty swift too.
Yeah. From when, and let's be honest, the grandmother was a huge asset to getting justice for her grandchild. You know.
Oh yeah, she was
did not
great.
Stop.
Yeah, I covered
saw
the
a
case a couple
video.
times, and she was
I
amazing.
saw a video where she almost got crushed by a backhoe, man. She was like, she was right in there. It's, she wanted justice and she got it. She would put her life on the line to try and find her grandchild. You know, I give her a lot of friggin' credit, man. A lot of credit.
Yeah,
And she held everybody
I like
accountable at
Karina's
that
dad
presser.
too. Karina's dad is pretty good too.
I haven't seen him. I just remember seeing her too at the press, and she really held them to the fire because I don't think they contacted her or something. She was pissed. She was pissed, you know. But anybody else got anything to say? It's 2:50 on my end, and my kids are gonna be coming home soon from the bus. Are you going live tonight? I know you said you passed out early last night. Yeah,
possibly. I gotta.
If you do, let me know.
Yeah, I gotta take care of some things, but I've been planning to, but I just been so busy.
Yeah, no, I totally got it. Totally got it. Now that everything's pretty much calm on my end, I'm gonna at least try and do lives at least 2 days a week.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. It's good to get your perspective on things.
It's good being around. It's good being around. It's just sometimes you feel like a chicken went out of the head, and my whole thing is like, there's not enough to cover in 30 minutes. It's like you need an hour and a half, and it's like I don't want to go on and like not give enough. It's just it's pointless. No, so
yeah,
when
we'll do it again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What does this say? Lynn said, when they say responsible, does it mean the killer or someone that planned for him to be killed?
Well,
Lynn,
that reminds me.
Like when law enforcement says that this person's responsible for the murder?
Yeah, she's talking about the captain's video.
Oh, see, I gotta watch his video.
Well, it's kind of like he doesn't say the killer. He makes mention of the person who's responsible. So he's using like all this wordplay. At one point, he says,
"Yeah, he's verbal. He's a verbal judo guy. He's a verbal judo guy, and he talks sometimes in just webs. Sometimes there's a lot that you could break down, and then sometimes it's just like, why the hell are you going that route? But the person responsible, he's meeting the killer. He's definitely. I mean, that's who's responsible for the girls being killed. The killer.
Or who feels responsible.
Yeah. Olivia, that's very true. I mean, but the problem with it is that there's cases out there that people look at as a cash cow, and I've peeked into different channels on different things, and you see some of these people who are out there, and the amount of money that gets donated to them is astronomical. And the whole thing is, why are they going to stop if the money is coming into them? A lot of us don't do this for money, but there's people that do, and that's why they jump case to case, and they're on every day, and they're helping fuel conspiracy theories because it's paying them. It's disgusting, but that's just the way it is. Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, me and Sleuth we always have good lives together. Overcomer, yeah, absolutely. We could add call-ins today. I should have mentioned it when Sleuth came on that we would have taken calls, but yeah, definitely. Next time we'll take calls. Absolutely. 100%. I want to hear what people have to say and what questions they got. Adam, good seeing you, man. Captain Howie's a good man.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Aspen.
Yeah, but boss, it's just his way of talking. He sometimes he just says things that come out questionable when it's really direct. The person responsible is the murderer. It's just the way it is. Sounds good, Blokey. Would like to hear you. MS was on a stream saying the police had the red Jeep to go through for testing. When did they say this? To have the red Jeep, they had to find the new owner. Because wasn't it middle of 2017 he got rid of it, Sleuth? Because it was
I'm
on
not
his
exactly
Facebook.
sure.
Yeah, he got the white pickup. I want to say it was by the end of 2017 he had the pickup. I believe it was middle of the year, but I could be wrong. Oh, see, they said it yesterday. Yeah, I haven't listened to the whole thing. I just know about them talking about the search warrant at the grandparents' house, at Tony's mom's house, and going through the pit. Cold Truth, it was great seeing you. Thanks for coming. I will definitely check in with you soon. Good having you here. They found nothing in the Jeep. Well, let's be honest. What is there to find in the Jeep? Not much. The girls were murdered where they were found. So,
Maybe
just
some
depends.
matching fibers.
Yeah. Let's remember that how many fibers, they put in there in Ron's search warrant. A lot of fibers were found. Unknown fibers and hairs. Oh, Tom Webb. Oh, yeah. I heard he had them on last night. But Sleuth, dude, it was good talking to you. Anybody else got anything else?
Thank you so much.
No, good having you on, man. I appreciate it. You're a good friend to have around all the time, man. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me. If I go live and you want to join later, man, I hope you find the time.
No, I'll definitely come on. Definitely come on and hang out. All right, everybody. I will see you this week. I'm trying to think. I think the next live will be on Tuesday. What's today? 7th. The 11th. Tuesday the 11th. And I'll post it up just so everybody knows. But thanks for being here. I appreciate all you guys. And thank you.
Thanks again, CD.
Later. See you later, buddy.